Welcome to day one of the 3D box challenge. This is a challenge where we make a different 3D box every day for the next 5 days. I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to be making a heart treat box, just like this one right here. And these are perfect because they're great when you have the grandkids come in and you fill them full of treats. And as they sit down for a meal with you, you put those treats right on their plate. So this is absolutely a fun little box to make, and it is so simple. So let's get started. What you want to do now is open Cricut Design Space, and then you're going to upload the file called 3D box-heart. I have mine pre-uploaded here. I'm just going to add it to the canvas. There we go. It is one size fits all, and you'll see my size here is I have a width of 9.8, so you could make it a little bigger if you wanted to. I'm 5.86. I keep mine fairly small. Now, the biggest key here is to make sure that you have the score lines where they need to be and the cut lines where they need to be. So if we start up here for the basic cut here, that should be a set of score lines. So that's the first one in the list. So let's just change that, and you can tell because I usually put them red. So this red one now has to be changed to a score line. So I'm in operations and click on score. I'm just going to click away, and that's exactly what we want. Everything else is a cut. We have a little cut line here and a cut line here. And then we have other areas here. So if I click on this piece, it looks like we have a little extra cut line. I can actually delete that. And we have a cut line here and a cut line here, perfect. And then the basic outline. Now, one last thing you need to do here to make sure that it works out perfectly is to highlight everything, that is select all, and then you're going to click on attach, and that's down here at the bottom of the layers panel. So now we are ready to save. So we're just going to save this as a heart box heart. And I don't have any particular collection that I'm going to be using. Now we are going to now make it, and you'll see it just fits on one sheet of paper, just slightly over the 6-inch mark and just to the 10-inch mark. So you could make this one a little bit bigger if you wanted to. Okay, I am going to continue, and then that'll select my device. I'm going to suggest you use a medium cardstock because when you're making 3D boxes, it's best to work with a medium cardstock. It's flexible and yet it's stiff enough to hold in as a box. So let's go click medium cardstock. We're going to use our single scoring wheel, and then coming up is our fine point blade. All right, let's go ahead and let's cut that. And then we are going to go over and put this whole thing together so you can see how it's put together. All right, you can see all the pieces and parts that I have here. We have lots of room in order to work. I'm just going to turn my little work lamp on here. Now I have the treat box I've already put together. I have not glued this one, but in order to use it, I can just slide it apart like this. And this is where I would put my treats. As you can see, I've got a handful of treats that we can put together here. And then I can close it back up. I have chosen not to glue this particular one, but we will glue some of the sides of the other one just to make it easier to handle when you're putting it back together. All right, so we have everything all cut up, ready to go. I have my score lines more visible here, and I want to fold everything to the inside. And of course, I want to be able to then use my spatula tool here, or scraper tool, and I want to use it to what we call burnish. That's to make sure all the folds are crisp. Everything towards the inside at this point. Here. Got this one. We still have our 2 tabs that we need to do here. There's 4 other little folds that we have to worry about. And that are the folds here in the center. Everything has gone to the inside and so will it. So you're just going to have to bend it up until you catch that line. There we go. We've got the one. We can burnish it, but for now, I'm just going to fold those in. And there we have the next one. Make sure I get it right on the line. And that'll fold in, and one more will fold right here. Perfect. All right, our next step is going to then come over and we're going to just glue these edges in because we don't want to glue the top in place or else nothing will happen. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Aleene's tacky glue, and it looks like the cap didn't want to come off on this one. May have to change glue. Yeah, seems to be, doesn't want to work. So I have this other glue handy right here. It's just a premium craft glue, really easy. All I'm going to do is apply it in 2 spots here. One right here and one right here for now, because we're just doing the one side. Just going to hold them in place because we will glue it together in just a second. We are going to glue the other pieces together, but right now we want those 2 together. And then we're going to glue on the inside. So let me just hold this down so I can show you what I'm going to do here. Might take a minute or 2 for it to dry. Here, and then another spot over here. All right, so now we've got all of these. I'm going to glue those together and I'm going to have to hold them in place. Same with this side, just hold it in place. So one thing with the glue, you can hold things in place. I try to use some clips sometimes. I have these nice big clips that I would like to use. Hopefully these will hold them in place. Kind of got somewhat of a glue here. Let's see. Move this to the outside. Don't want it to fall apart. So let me just grab that and grab the other side so you can see where we're gluing the 2 together. And I want to now just move this so that it's flush. Don't want it off square, and this one's a little bit off as well, so I can just push it down and then put my clamp back in place. Now, in order to clamp it, I move the flap to the back outside. Now we want to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm just going to fold these back out of the way so that we can see what we're doing here, and then this one back out of the way. All right, first thing, I'm going to glue on the inside piece here and here. And then I also want to glue on this flap as well as this one. Now I'm going to have to glue those together. Well, it just tipped over because of my clamps. We're going to add a couple of other clamps here. I got these clamps at the dollar store, so you can use anything you want, just as long as you can hold things into place. I want to make sure it's squared up as much as possible. We can add extra glue later, but right now we just want to make sure everything stays in place. Just add my clamp here, and then just make sure everything is squared up. There we go. Now, as soon as that's dry, our box is pretty well finished, except when we put the top together. So I'm just going to move that over to the side. So basically, once those pieces are all put together, we're going to be able to slide our tops back together. Now, I would have had these two sides glued in. And then all we have to fold over these pieces and then slide the two heart pieces together. I've got one slit on this side and one slit on that side. So it's easy enough. You can just pull them back and flip them over and slide them into each other. And that will be our card box. So now that these little edges are glued and they're pretty dry, we have the two flaps here. We're just going to fill it with our treat. And we're going to add the extra flaps. This is so simple. And we have the flaps this way and this way. So now when you go to put it together, we're going to bend it into place. And then you can just bend these two pieces around each other and slide them into position. Now we have this beautiful little heart box. Now you could decorate this or do anything else that you wanted with. So this is our heart treat box. Now this is challenge number 1 of 5 days of the challenge. So look for the next video tomorrow. Until then, happy crafting.